mean, it is a weekly reset coming up. Today is Friday. It is September 13th, and there is some big buffs and nerfs going on. Now, what does this all mean? We'll find out. We'll go through them quickly and show you what they do. So, we're going to go to here because this is just the raid. Wanted to calculates a lot of the score for you. So archon.gg. But Death Knight's Vampiric Strike chance to trigger increase to 25% was 10. Frenzy Bloodthirst damage of Death Coil and Death Strike increased by 5% per stack was 4, so a little increase there. And Strength grants 8% strength was 6. Vampiric Strike increased by 20%. Thoros deals 15% of remaining damage over time was 10. So a little bit of buffs for the Death Knight. The Demon Hunter, on the other hand, is getting a just fixed issue or I-beam damage to reduce beyond one target instead of 5. So there was a glitch there, and fixed an issue that prevented I-beam from benefiting from isolated praise damage bonus. So it's going to do a little more. Also fixed an issue that prevented I-beam from benefiting from chaotic disposition damage bonus. So that will also fix it and do a little more damage. Balanced druids. This is going to be hilarious because I could see the first two here. Okay, druids are, doing a little, like, they're single target. Everyone knew going into the raid that druids are going to have low single target. It was just what everyone knew. And as you can see is the DPS. Yes, they are pretty low down here. Let's go to throughput. So they're right at the bottom. Okay, yeah, I get the single target. You need some buffs there, which is 6% and Star Surge 16. Those are great buffs. I don't get the Starfall. The Starfall, druids are doing some pretty good AoE damage when there's a lot of targets with Starfall, but maybe that will balance it kind of all the way back up to probably bottom A tier. If Boomkins aren't A tier, there's going to be a lot of crying. They always cry, so that's why they always get buffed. Lunar Call increases Starfire damage to its primary target by 80% was 65. So just buffs all around for balance. Feral. Blood Talent and Lion Strength no longer. Also increase the damage of Rampant Ferocity. All ability increased by 3%. Rip 6. Ferocious Bite 3. Feral Frenzy damage 10, and Druid of the Claw, a Ravage damage increased by 3. So some buffs all around. Should bring Feral up right around here. I would suspect right around the high Bs. Again, this is single target. These are basically single target ones. Wait until they get AoE. Their AoE was also very good. But this is the big one that's going to help out. Restoration Druid, it needed some healing increases. Definitely needed some in raid. They are the lowest healer, just below Monk. Everyone else is well over 1,000,000, and we have 2 lone soldiers down here, which are being addressed. So all healing increased by 8%, and then their damage increased, Wrath, Starfire, and Star Surge, which is good bonus for Resto. Evoker Disintegrate damage increased by 10%. Devastation, Eternity Surge increased by 10%. Nice little buff to the Evoker, which is Devastation, and they were doing okay, like bottom of the pack in this section, so it should buff them up to kind of the top of the pack. Now, this does not include any tier sets. You need to remember that because that is a key component. The tier sets are going to be game changing for some classes and absolute dog shit for others. Like Warrior, pretty much dog shit fucking tier set. So this one is going to get surpassed when everyone gets their tier set. Mage, Living Bomb, Explosion Visual now only plays on the unit that is the Living Bomb rather than each unit damaged by explosive. Okay, good thing. Arcane, Meteorite damage reduced by 15. Okay. Burn to Power damage, this is all Sun Fury. For Arcane Blast reduced to 20% was 30, and Burden of Power damage for Arcane Barrage 20 was 30. Fire, all ability increased by 6, and Living Bomb by 25. They nerfed the crap out of this, now they're starting to bring it back. Oh, that's always the way it works, so just fine-tuning, because fire is way down in the dumpster. Mistweaver, all healing increased by 3%. Yeah, it's good. I think it could have been slightly more, but I'm a little biased because 3% is okay. It's not awful. It will get you about 30k HPS. I think it should have been more like 5 would have been better, which would have been 45, which would have bring you closer to the million. Still low, but still closer. But it is what it is. Tiger Palm damage increased by 15. They do this every X pack. These Tiger Palm, Rising Sun kick, and then for the other monk spec, it's always Blackout kick. Always get buffed because they're absolute dog shit. They bake it into a tier set, and then they have to go buff it all again. Just buff them correctly once, and they won't have to buff them all the time. Windwalker, Darting Hurricane passive, trigger rate reduced by 50%. It now reduces the global cooldown by 0.25 was 0.5. So that's a big nerf to Darting Hurricane. Paladin, all healing reduced by 6%. Judgment damage increased by 60. Crusader Strike damage increased by 60. Hammer Wrath damage increased by 20. Avenging Crusader transfer amount reduced to 260 was that's a hefty nerf there. Holy Prism single target damage increased by 100%. And area effect damage increased by 50%. So lots of damage buffs for them, which is good because their damage was kind of on the lower side. It was way down, 103. So pretty low compared to everyone else. Discipline Priest should always be high. They'd have to damage a heal. Monk should actually be higher because they have to damage a heal, but that is what it is. So those are some nice buffs. Although you're losing 6% healing, not the worst. I'm going to bring you down just below. It should bring you down right around Holy Priest. Ret, Herald of the Sun, Dawn of Light damage reduced by 15. Okay, not the worst. Just 1. They were doing some great damage. Priest, a whole damage increased by 6% for Shadow. Psychic Link inflicts 25% of direct damage to targets affected by Vampiric Touch was 30. So you're getting a nerf on Psychic Link, but an all damage increase. Interesting. Outlaw Rogue, all ability damage reduced by 4%. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, they're mid A. Yeah, interesting that you're nerfing them. Okay, let's carry on. Dispatch damage reduced by 10, another nerf. Melee auto attack reduced by 8, another nerf. So this is actually a pretty hefty nerf to Outlaw. Warthen 2-set bonus now grants listed abilities a 35% chance to deal 30% increased damage to Shadow. Oh, so they're okay. I see what they're doing. They're buffing. I don't understand this. They're buffing the tier set to nerf the abilities. Yeah, okay, so they're giving you some borrowed power. They're buffing the borrowed power. 4-set bonus between the eyes increased to 15% per stack, up to 4 stacks was 6%, 3 stack. Oh, that's huge increase on the baked in, temporary buffs. Okay, interesting. Enhancement Shaman, all ability increased by 4%. Now reduce the cooldown of Sphere of Spirit by 1 second whenever you gain Maelstrom Weapon was 2 seconds. Okay, so you're getting a nerf to the Witch Doctor. War Within Season now increases the damage of Storm Strike, Lava Blast, Ice Blast, and Crash by 10%. Okay, but a buff to the tier set. Interesting. Restoration. Lava Burst damage increased by... it's just all buffs to Resto damage, which is interesting because Resto damage is not bad. Middle of the pack. Yeah, it's upper pack. So they're getting all buffs. Okay. Sure, we'll go with that. Warlock, Demolock, Demon Bolt damage increased by 20. That's always good. Pack of the Summon Doomguard increased damage by 45. That's huge. Felguard damage increased by 15. That's very good. And then Destruction, all abilities 6. Dimensional Rift 40 and Channel Demon Fire 40. So some nice buffs to the demo and Destro spec. Because they were pretty much down here as well. So basically every one of these specs except Og got buffed, which is a good thing. Warrior, Mountain of the Muscle and Scars increased damage dealt by 5 was 4, so a little buff to the Colossus. Damage dealt by Demolition, 2 initial strikes increased by 20%. Okay. Mountain Thane, Thunderblast, Lightning Strike, and Ground Current damage increased by 6%. Okay. Arms, so they're buffing some abilities and then nerfing Blade Storm. And Fury gets Odin's Fury damage reduction by 15. Both Blade Storms were 10. Mountain Thing, Strength of the Mountain, Bloodthirst Rampage damage by 20 was 15. So nice increase there. And then a bunch of PvP stuff, and I don't PvP, so it will mean nothing to me, but you know, Enhancement Shaman, you can see getting very big buffs here. Windwalker no longer reduced was 50%. Okay, nothing really pressing. And some Warlock buffs. So nothing too crazy in PvP, but a little bit of buffs around. That wraps it up, though. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe. Deflect, firm but fair gaming. We'll see you in the next video.